I know what I think of him, and I know what I think of his ability and his potential. So to see him go out there and really pitch as well as he did, I think everyone got a little peek at, why we're so excited about him. He pitched really well and gave us just what we needed to be able to turn it over to our three guys that we knew we had available, and we knew we might have to push them a little further than we're used to. And all in all, just a really good bounce-back win for us.
What did you view as the biggest difference for him on the mound tonight?
In his first two outings, his first outing, he was obviously really good and got the win. But last outing, in both those outings, I feel like he nibbled a little bit with his fastball. I thought he was a lot more assertive, a lot more aggressive with his fastball in challenging the strike zone with it. And then we saw a number of really good breaking balls. We saw some good changeups. And when he got in some put-away counts, I felt like he did a better job of making it look like a strike out of the hand, which is something you got to be better at up here in the big leagues. Down in the minor leagues, guys will tend to chase pitches that can be a ball out of the hand with two strikes. Here you got to make it look a little better, and I thought he did a really good job with that.
Didn't give up his first hit until that sixth inning and then wound up lifting him for David Robertson. Did you just feel like he was a little fatigued at that point?
Yeah, I felt like he was, and we weren't going to go much over 90 with him tonight, so I would have had to answer tougher questions from you guys if he hadn't given up that hit, because he was coming out. So we were hoping to get him through that 6 because his pitch count was pretty good, but we weren't going to go much over 90 at all with him. And I felt like he maybe started to tire a little bit, lost those 2 guys in that inning, but all in all, what a really good performance by him.
With Stanton, 8 hits or 7 hits his last 8 at-bats, I believe. What's been the difference with him?
I just think he's getting on time better, and we're starting to see him impact some good fastballs tonight from Velasquez. He turned that one heater right around back up the middle. So I think he's just starting to find that timing I've been talking about all year, that rhythm. I think he's getting synced up. He's getting started a little bit earlier, very subtle, but it's allowing him to get into a strong position, and we're starting to see that results a little more consistently now.
Other than that, it's kind of a strange question to ask, given how well you played this first half of the year, but to stop a losing streak before it gets any kind of esteem, how nice was that to kind of get that out of the way and get it done with?
Yeah, losing stinks. So, you get swept in a series, you want to put an end to that. But that's not something I ever worry about with this group. They're so good, honestly, at just win or loss, taking inventory. The music's going, they're going to enjoy this one, but it's ready to get to work tomorrow. And what's the matchup? Arrieta, boom, here we go. So they're really good at turning the page. So I don't worry so much about it, but it's nice to go shake hands at the end of the day.
The offense, especially where you guys kind of strung some runs together in the game, some key hits here in the Giancarlo. Let's talk about the way your offense approach today was. How was it for you guys?
Yeah, I thought Velasquez was good, but we made him work for it. Got a couple runs off him, drove his pitch count up, and were able to get into the pen and then have that big inning, add on a couple of runs to give us a little bit of a cushion there, a little bit of some breathing room. But I thought all in all we had some pretty good at-bats up and down and against a guy that was pretty tough against us in Velasquez.
Betances took some violent swings there when he was at the plate. What are you thinking as you're watching that?
I'm in favor of this DH thing all around. That's what I'm thinking.
With a guy like that, a reliever who typically does not, the starter's expecting to maybe get a couple swings.
I thought he had some pretty good swings. They were violent, but he was on. But man, my heart skipped a beat about 7 times now watching our pitchers swing the bat. Yeah, I don't love it.
Is there any part of you that says bunt there, or just don't even let the bat off?
He's got some runners out there. Let it rip. But man, I wish it looked a little more controlled.
People were throwing Gary Sheffield comps out there.
Yeah, he was up there. It was fun to watch. It was fun to look at up there with the waggle and just how big he is and everything. So, glad he came out of it fine and was able to obviously pitch well for us.
What's going on with Robertson and Joe West?
I don't know. Something with Joe was throwing the ball out, and yeah.
Is there any thought to just having Dylan not swing in a situation like that, just because things can go wrong?
There is, and we would do that in some situations. But, you know, there's a couple runners out there at that point, you know, touching the ball in that spot to add potentially add a run or two is significant. And, you know, at the end of the day, they are athletes but maybe there's a conversation there to let's smooth it out a bit.
This is not a smart aleck question, but I mean, if Loizaga been this good, and you think this highly of him, what was he doing 8 weeks ago in single A?
What do you mean?
I mean, why wasn't he further like in
Well,
Trenton or Scranton?
I mean, he just hasn't been. He hasn't been there yet. I mean, he only threw 30-something innings at the low minor league level. So he started out in Tampa and then was moved up to Trenton. I think it's a pretty natural progression that he's been on. He's just come fast because he hasn't pitched a lot prior, so he hasn't racked up really any that much experience yet.